Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's explainer. We are looking at something pretty incredible today, how massive national community service initiatives actually come to life right there on the ground, driven by young students. Specifically, we're going to unpack the National Service Scheme, or NSS, at the Gurukul Mahila Arts and College over in Porbandar to see exactly how these young women are making a real impact. Everything we are exploring today is anchored by this one absolutely powerful motto: not me, but you. Take just a second and really reflect on that. I mean, in a world that so often prioritizes the individual, what does it truly mean to put others first? This simple but profound statement is the engine behind the entire National Service Scheme, and you'll see it informing literally every single initiative we're about to talk about. So, here's our quick roadmap for today. First, we'll cover the legacy of the NSS. Second, we'll check out the Porbandar unit. Third, we'll dive into their main objectives and impact. And finally, we'll wrap up with their achievements and activities. Let's move to Section 1 and see how this builds the legacy of the NSS. Now, you might be wondering, is this just a small, localized college club? Actually, scratch that, it is way bigger. The National Service Scheme is a massive, nationwide movement operating directly under the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, fully backed by the Government of India. When students sign up for this, they aren't just joining a club. They're plugging into a massive, nationwide network purposely designed to mobilize the youth of the country toward real civic duty and community development. To put all of this into perspective, let's look at the timeline. The NSS was founded back on September 24, 1969. Now, why that specific year? Well, because it marked the centenary of Mahatma Gandhi. The founders deliberately tied the launch of this massive youth service program to a man whose entire existence was defined by service. Fast forward to today, and we're looking at a super dynamic program rollout for the 2025 to 2026 academic year, which is going to culminate in major events like the upcoming Youth Parliament. It's just an awe-inspiring connection, deeply rooted in Gandhi's historical legacy, but totally driven by modern youth. Now, what's really interesting about this is the visual symbolism of the official NSS logo. It's not just some random geometric design they threw together. It actually represents the giant wheel of the famous Konark Sun Temple. The creators chose the specific symbol because the wheel stands for dynamism, continuous progress, and the uninterrupted cycle of national service. It perfectly communicates that community service isn't just a one-off weekend event. It is a continuous, rolling movement forward. All right, let's zoom in from that national level down to the boots-on-the-ground reality. Section 2, our Porbandar unit. Ultimately, a program like this completely relies on local leadership. For the 2025-26 academic year, the college has organized its units under incredibly dedicated program officers, Dr. Rajendra S. Chaudhary and Dr. Namrata J. Samani. But what is genuinely fantastic here is seeing the peer leadership in action. Students themselves, like Ms. Janki Sundarvadra and Ms. Nandini Sarvaya, are stepping up as representatives. This guarantees that while the initiative is guided by experienced educators, it's being driven directly by the students. Just look at the sheer scale of local participation we're talking about here. For the 2025-26 year, they have 200 total student registrations. Imagine trying to coordinate 200 college students. That is 200 young women voluntarily taking on extra responsibilities totally outside their regular academic workload. And even more impressive, 100 of those students are deployed to a highly intensive special camp at Simony Place. This isn't just casual volunteering. This is a highly organized, tactical operation to do some heavy lifting community work. So, what's the philosophy driving all this? Let's get into Section 3, Main Objectives and Impact. So, the crucial point is that the core objectives are really threefold. First, it's about instilling a deep spirit of social service and nationalism. Second, practically enabling these students to get out there and serve their society. But that third point, that is perhaps the most profound part of the whole shebang, developing the student's own personality and character through that community service. The brilliant underlying philosophy is that while these young women are out there building the community, the actual act of serving is building their character. It's a completely mutually beneficial transformation. Okay, time for the really exciting stuff. Section 4, Achievements and Activities. Let's rapid fire through some of the real-world results here because these are major state-level achievements. One of their local volunteers was literally selected to march in the official state parade on Republic Day. No way, right? Another was chosen for the state-level National Integration Camp. On top of that, they had 18 volunteers undergo specialized training under the Youth Opta Mitra scheme, which, if you don't know, is disaster management training. Just imagine having 18 trained disaster response young adults ready to jump in and help their local community during a crisis. Plus, they're organizing the 2026 Youth Parliament. These students in Porbandar are making massive waves well beyond their own campus. And this brilliantly illustrates just how diverse their activities are. On one hand, you have students fully participating in International Yoga Day, promoting physical health, that whole Fit India concept, and holistic personal wellness. But then, completely shifting gears, they run an entirely different kind of wellness initiative, a drug awareness and de-addiction session. They are absolutely tackling community wellness from every conceivable angle, the physical, the mental, and the really tough social issues affecting the wider public. The sheer breadth of their work is kind of staggering. Beyond organizing crucial things like blood donation drives and assisting the visually impaired, they're also heavy into environmental action. They run this beautiful initiative called Tree Rakshaband, where they literally tie protective threads to trees to pledge their protection, along with clean air campaigns and bird rescues. And crucially, being a women's college, they heavily champion women's rights through the Beti Bachao or Save the Daughter program, while also celebrating democratic milestones like Voters' Day. It's just an incredibly rich, multifaceted approach to empowering a community. Which brings us right back to where we started today. We've seen how hundreds of students in Porbandar are stepping up, getting trained, and dedicating their precious time to everything from disaster management to environmental protection. They are actively living that motto, not me, but you, every single day. So I want to leave you with this provocative thought to chew on. Look around your own neighborhood, your own school, or your own workplace. How are you putting you before me in your community today? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.